Hi everybody, welcome to my Flosstube. This is Rhonda, I'm with Asbury's Echoes, and this is Flosstube number 4. It's November 1st. It's a beautiful day today. The sun's shining. There's hardly a cloud in the sky. A lot better than yesterday. Yesterday it was so darn windy and cold, and this little house just doesn't handle things well when it's windy and cold like that. I think all the wind finds every crack and crevice. But today is much better, which is a good thing. I'm not quite prepared. I wasn't going to do this quite so soon, but it seems like Drew just insists that I do this weekly. So we'll see if I have enough to even talk about. We've been busy this week. We were really busy over the weekend. I decided to pull my washer and dryer out, clean underneath them, get a few things fixed, and the cold water wasn't working on my washing machine, and my husband was messing with that, and he was trying to get some little trap or something cleaned out, so he was tapping on it in the bathroom on the bathroom sink and cracked the bathroom sink. So that meant we had to run to Menards and get a new sink at the last minute and get that put in and try and get the washer and dryer hooked back up and going. And it just was one of those things that kind of takes what you think will be a short period of time, ends up taking a lot longer. And then we ended up having my parents come over for supper on Sunday night. So we got the sink. It's working. It's not done yet. It will get done, I hope, sooner or later. Once we got through that, that took a lot of my stitching time. So I don't know here what I've got to show. I've also been busy canning. I love to can, and so this week we've canned chicken soup without the noodles. I'll put the noodles in later. And yesterday I tried cranberry juice. That's a first for me. I hope it turns out good. I love cranberry juice, but it's going to take at least 2 months before it's ready, so we'll see about that. A few things that I had to share today. Some of my finishes. I have one that I finished. I think I showed it last week. I was working on it last week and I got it finished today. Or not today, but I got it finished over the weekend, I think. And this is Nightshade Farm. And it's a Lori Brecklin Not Forgotten Farm pattern. I think it turned out really cute. It's, the colors are, my colors, they're real drab. Muted browns. I think there's a lot of black in here. There's even a little bit of white. Don't have a clue what I'm going to do with her yet. We'll figure it out. But this is the pattern. And I did not use the called for thread. She called for 36 count straw linen. And I think I used 36 count vintage mocha. And I used the called for threads. Again, I did not write it down. I did not use the called for the pumpkins. And I don't remember what I used, but I think they turned out okay. But that's that one. That's the only full finish, or the finish I've got. I do have a couple things that I've stitched. I stitched this one, I don't know, a couple years ago. And somebody on Facebook had shared a sampler wall in their home, and she had this one up on her wall, and I just loved it. And I asked her where or who it was by, and it was actually a bright needle charted design called School Days. And I couldn't find the pattern, but this lady graciously just sent it to me. She sent me a bunch of patterns, and I was so appreciative of it. Was not expecting it at all, but this was one of the ones that was in it, and I went ahead and stitched it. I know I did not use the called for anything. I can't tell you. I might have used the called for threads. I don't suppose I used the called for linens. I don't know what I did stitch it on. But I found this frame a while back at an antique store and pulled this out and thought, you know what, I think it'll work. It's not perfect by any means. I kind of, there's not much space on the sides at all. But for some reason I was drawn to this one. I don't know why. It's got the schoolhouse and the alphabet and these two little girls right here. They're not exactly the primitive colors that I normally use, but I do like the way it turned out, and I was so appreciative to get the pattern. There are so many nice people out there, it just amazes me. And another one I wanted to show you that I finished last year is a Kathy Barrick pattern, and it's called Autumn Harvest, and I hang this one up year round. It's just, I know, pumpkins, but I love the colors and I love the horses. It's just, I don't know, I just love it. I love the cat on the house or the old cabin. I think that is so sweet. And so I stitched this. I think it looks like it's some of my linen that I get from Joann's Fabrics. It's not a, I'm not sure what it's called or what it is, what it's used for, but I just like the way it looks, and it turns out to be kind of a 32 count linen, I think. And then this, I know I coffee stained it because I can see on the back where I've coffee stained it. I use coffee, instant coffee and walnut crystals, and sometimes I might throw a little bit of RIT dye in there, but I don't really have a recipe. It's just kind of a dump and go. I never know what I'm gonna get. But I love the way this one turned out. And it's definitely a fall theme. It's called Autumn Harvest. But again, I don't really decorate necessarily for each and every holiday. I just kind of keep out what I like and pull 2 or 3 things out for a holiday and put them away, but that's about all I do. And I don't know that I've ever mentioned, but I stitch 1/2. I haven't stitched with 2 threads for, oh, it's been a long time. I guess I just like the look. I think it looks maybe a little more primitive. I like the look of the 1/2. So there's that one. And let's see. That was all for the, I have no idea what Drew's trying to get me to do. Oh, hold them closer to the camera. I will do that. I have had some suggestions from people, and I appreciate them all, because as you can tell, I have no idea what I'm doing. Any and all suggestions are wonderful. My work in progress. I got my Stacy Nash Blackwater Hollow samplers started. I don't know if you can see that, if that's any better. I did this on, or I'm doing this on Weeks Dye Works. I think, where did I put it? Here it is. It's Weeks Dye Works, and it's 30 count linen. It's not the called for. It calls for just Weeks Dye Works linen. And I don't think I could, I think they were out of that on 1, 2, 3 stitch, so I chose the gray. I'm using the called for threads on this one, and I started it, I don't know, I haven't been stitching on it for long. I started on it a couple days now, maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and it's coming along fun. It's kind of a slower stitch for me. I didn't think I was ever going to get that big old black pot done. And then I counted wrong, and I had to frog a bunch of it and start over, and it was kind of frustrating. But once I figured out what I had done for a mistake, it went quickly after that. And the flowers, that's a little time consuming. So now that I've got that done, I think it'll go a lot faster. But it's very pretty. Very pretty pattern. And again, it's got the colors that I just love. I'll be working on that. I'm pretty much a monogamous stitcher, as I've said, so I'll get this one done. I will work on it. every day, I'm sure. And when I get that one done, I did get this kitted up, and this is another Stacy Nash, and it is Spring at Hollyberry Farm. And they're not gonna, my printer is not the best. It's an old one.
Maybe if you put the ink in.
And yes, I know, it needs new ink. I try not to put the new ink in until I absolutely have to, but I think this one's gonna be fun too. And I'm guessing this will be my next stitch after I get, I can't remember what it was called, my Blackwater hollow sampler. Once I get that one done, I'm guessing this one will be my next stitch. It calls for 32 count R&R reproduction, and looks like I got lamb's wool. It's 32 count. It's pretty color. It's real light, very basic. If I remember right, I couldn't find the reproduction, the R&R. It's creme brulee is what it called for. Hers is definitely very mottled. I don't know if you can see how it's mottled in the picture. This obviously isn't, but I will probably dye it after I stitch it. I don't know, maybe I'll dye this before I stitch it, we'll see. And I like the colors. I'm going to use the called for colors. I think they're very pretty. It's got blue. Anything with blue. I'm a blue. I love the blue color. I don't know. Brethren Blue. I love the names of these two. So that's probably going to be my next stitch. Although what I'm finding is I've started designing and I want to stitch all the stuff, but I want to design too. And after I design it, I have to stitch it to see if it's gonna work. So it's making it kind of hard to be a monogamous stitcher, and it's making it hard to get all the things I want to stitch stitched. But I guess that's not a bad problem to have, right? It's just that there's not enough time in the day to get everything done, is what I find. So that was that. And then I don't normally have a lot of haul. I've got so much stuff here that I've accumulated over the years, and I'm trying very hard not to purchase a lot of stuff. But I was scrolling the other day and I came across this. It's called the Emma Hill Sampler by Rose Tree Samplers. And it's just so simple and so just, I don't know, it looks very primitive to me. I think this is an old, yeah, it's a 1993 copyright, so this is an old one. And I can't remember where I found it. It was only $2. I ordered it online and I can't remember. I'm gonna have to look more for that because they had a bunch of them. There was a whole bunch of patterns for $2, and they shipped very quickly. And I was very good, and I just got one, but I know there were others on there that I would like to try. So maybe this will be a stitch in between here because, like I said, it's very small, very simple. I think something about I think the fence that's going up the side there that I like. I'm not sure, but it's really neat. And then I ordered Teresa Kogut's book, Let Love Reign. She has so many books and I would love to have them all, but like I said, I have so many patterns. Just so many patterns. It's just unbelievable. And there's so many out there I'd love to have, but I'm trying to be very, very picky about what I bring home. This one's got, I think it's got 3 or 4 patterns. They're all very pretty. This one here, oh my goodness. I don't know if I'll ever get that one done. That's a nice big one. But it's blues. Beautiful blues in the house and the people, and I don't know. I think it's gorgeous. Teresa Kogut's stuff is all just gorgeous. And that reminds me, that's one of my shout outs, or not necessarily a shout out, but that's one of the Flosstubes that I did watch this week. I'd never watched her before, and it was very enjoyable. I'm gonna write her down so I can remember that. She's really fun to watch. And then one other that I ordered was from the Sampler Company. I'm sorry, Designs by Brenda Keys. And she is overseas, the Sampler Company. I can't remember where this came from, but I just thought this one, I ordered a couple more too, and this is the one I was going to show. Blue House. I just love the little sheep and the little dog. And hers came, it came very quickly. I was surprised. And it came with, I'm sorry, I told myself I wasn't going to do this because of the rattle. But here we go. Her stuff comes with this little card that is separate, and it just talks about the sampler and tells the colors used and the fabric used. And then it also comes with the thread organizer, which is pretty cool. I don't know if I'll use it or not, because I usually just keep my stuff on a ring and pretty basic, and I'm too lazy to take all my threads off and put them on this, and it's just, I just want to stitch. I don't know. I think it's neat to have them organized like that, but I'm just not organized. And then it also comes with, I love these cards, and I need to be more diligent about that. This one's got stitched by and in the year, and I definitely need to be more diligent about that because I am not good. I get something done and then I put it away, and then a few days later even, I can't remember anything about it. I can't remember the name, I can't remember the designer, I can't remember, and that's not good. I need to be better at that. That was it for haul. I have enough other stuff here that I can stitch on those and not have to get anything to add to it, I'm sure. Let me see. My pieces. This is one that I stitched a while back, and I'm sure most people aren't going to be too thrilled about this one, but it's called A Simple Life is Its Own Reward. And I'm striving more and more to just have more of a simple life, old-fashioned life even. It just seems to make us happier. Things, you know, slow down. That's my motto, slow down. But when I stitched this, I was thinking about my childhood, and I had the best childhood. It's just, I think I was 10 years old. We lived in town till I was 10 years old, and I can remember the neighborhood kids and playing baseball in the backyard and playing chase and catching lightning bugs and riding our bikes around the block and all the fun things. And then we moved out to the country and loved it. Just loved. We had horses, we had sheep, we had pigs, we had rabbits, we had cats, we had dogs, and I had 40 acres to roam. It was just the best. So when I did this, I was trying to think of all my favorite things growing up. And so, like I said, we had rabbits. My sister and I wanted rabbits, and we had rabbits, but the stipulation with having the rabbits was they reproduce very quickly, and so we butchered our rabbits, the babies. So we had our pets, but the babies weren't pets because we knew. But it wasn't really an issue, I don't think, because they reproduced so quickly. They were babies, it seemed like a lot. So we were always had baby rabbits. And then we raised sheep. Loved the sheep. I remember we had the sheep. They bought the property when we still lived in town. And I remember the sheep being the first thing we had. So the sheep and the cat. This was my cat, Smokey. She was my favorite cat of all time. She came from my aunt. flowers, of course, flowers and quilts. I just love flowers and I love quilts. And then the horses, they were my favorite. And these are the 3 horses that, we had quite a few horses throughout the years, but this is Buttermilk. She was our little dapple pony, and Casey was Dad's. We raised him. And then Cherokee was mine, and Cherokee was, he was a paint. He was kind of a special old guy. That's what we always called him, the old man, because we had him for so many years. And he was quite old when we finally lost him, but this is just kind of my life as a child, my growing up. It was nice, I have to say. So there's that one, and this is, the pattern is in my Etsy shop. I don't know that anybody else would want to stitch something like that, because like I said, that was just for me. But then I have these 3 things that I stitched. I guess I've done these in the past week too, and they are little Christmas cupboard keeps, pillow tucks. I don't know what you want to call them. This one here I showed last week. I had stitched it and framed it, and I decided to stitch it again, and I took the date off the bottom and turned it into a little pillow. This is such a sweet little pattern. Very quick stitch. And I like this one. It's called the Hand-Did Schoolgirl Sampler, from the Hand-Did Schoolgirl Samplers. And then I have these 2, A Merry Old Christmas, and again, very quick stitch, but makes a nice little pillow to sit around, on a shelf or in a dough bowl. And then Silent Night. It's a little bigger. I kind of did a little bit of experimenting with these. I've gotten into the habit of filling my pillows with crushed walnut shells, or lizard litter, as it's called. And I like the way it fills a pillow. It gives it a little bit of heft and a little bit of weight, and you can set it. But these, you can shape it that way. These, I put a little bit of fiberfill in. I put the fiberfill in the corners to get the corners to stand out a little better. And then I put some walnut shells in, and then I put a little bit more fiberfill, and I think I kind of like it this way. It gives them a little more shape maybe, and yet they still have the heft, the weight, and you can still kind of shape them some too. And then I was watching Lori Brecklin with Not Forgotten Farms. She had a Flosstube out. She doesn't put them out very often, but when she does, they're worth watching. I really enjoy Lori's, her Flosstube. But she was showing her pillows, and I have always tended to leave a hole in the bottom to fill my pillows, and then just kind of whip stitch it closed. Looks very primitive that way, and I do like that look. But she was showing how she does her backs, and I know a lot of people do that. They sew it all the way around, and I always sew mine by hand. I don't use a machine because I'm just not very proficient with the sewing machine. It's quicker for me to go up and do it by hand, I guess. So I slit the back, and then closed it up after I filled my pillow, and then I took a piece of linen. I think they've all been, well, this one was coffee dyed more so than this one, so I guess it doesn't really matter. And I wrote the name of the pattern, and then I put my name and the date. Lori was showing how she does that, and I thought, you know, I really should be doing something like that, because I stitch so many of these. And a lot of these I stitch for others because they order them. And I just decided that I should start doing this. I think it looks nice. It still looks primitive, but it makes it maybe a little more personable, because it's got the name of the person who stitched it, and the date and all that good stuff. So I think I'll start doing that. And there's that one. It doesn't take much time, but it, I really like that she showed that and suggested doing something like that. And as far as plans, I have had this frame. I just love the frame. I'm gonna take all that out. I'll keep the picture. I have no idea who those ladies are, but I love old pictures. I love the hairdo, and I love the clothes, and just everything about it. So I'll keep the picture. I don't know what I'll do with it. But I think, it's pretty dusty. It's been sitting. I think I'm gonna try and come up with some sort of band sampler, maybe. A primitive band sampler for this. So that's another thing I want to work on here soon. I don't know. I've got so many things I want to do. This just came from an antique store. I think the antique store here in town. We tend to go in there and just wander now and then. Take a break from homeschooling and reality, Drew says, but it's fun to just go in and wander. You never know what you're going to find, and you may not find anything, but the gentleman who runs it is fun to talk with, and it's just something Drew and we like to do. I wanted to give a shout out to Doreen with Privies and Prims Needle Crafts. She's got a wonderful floss tube, and she's very good at, she almost puts something out weekly, if not more. Lots of good tutorials, and she did a shout out for me and showed a couple of my patterns that she ordered, and she's been stitching, and I just appreciate her so much. She's helped me a lot through all of this process. Another one was the Sable Stitchers. I had heard about them. I had not watched them, so I sat down yesterday and watched, well, they put one out yesterday, and oh my goodness, they're a hoot. They are fun to watch. They get along, just the way they interact with each other, and their stitching is beautiful. They have so many beautiful things to show and talk about, and I wanted to give them a shout out because they gave me a wonderful shout out too. And another one was the Woolly Sheep Stitcher. She's got a new one out too, and it's really enjoyable, and she gave me a shout out. I'm gonna have to try and carve out some time to watch some more, because there's so many out there. I tend to try and put something on when I'm here in the kitchen, fixing supper or canning, or when I'm folding clothes, or just doing things like that. Usually when I'm stitching, we're all in the living room sitting down watching TV, and the guys don't really want to watch my Flosstube stuff, but I try. I'm trying to find some more time. I know there's so many more out there that I need to see and I want to see, and it's just such a wonderful, wonderful new world for me. I think that's all I have to share, but Andrew here, he's got something he's decided he wants to show.
Squeeze in here.
So, and he's appreciated all the comments too. That's something else. Thank you so much for everybody for watching and liking and commenting. It's fun to see all the comments. I feel like maybe I try and respond to all of them. If I miss somebody, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to. I have to figure out if anybody can tell me. YouTube shows up on my computer and my phone so small, the print is so small that I struggle reading it. So
you have to adjust that on your computer.
I've got to figure out how to adjust that. If anybody knows how, please let me know. So here's Andrew.
Hi.
I'm not sure what he has to show.
I wanted to do a little bit of an introduction on me. I'm 12. I'm Andrew. You can call me Drew. I go by both. I love it. I love anything with 4 wheels and an engine. My favorite thing is cars, but I like things like go-karts and 4-wheelers and stuff like that. I've got my own car. It was kind of, I guess you'd call it lended down to me from my brother after he got a new car, and I've got something I want to show. I did a watercolor painting on it. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try and put a picture on there so you know what the real thing looks like. And I made one pattern. I've been very busy. It's purple. It's really tan and beige. It's supposed to be of our house. We've got a little we've got a little house and a couple of oak trees, so I thought I'd make one of our house. I think that's all I have.
The watercolor. He's learning how to use watercolors through school, homeschooling. So
It's my baby.
it's always fun when he's learning something during school and I see him actually trying to do something that he's learned at school during his own free time. So I think he did pretty good. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. People want to sit and listen to me talk. It floors me, but I appreciate it so much. And I don't know that we'll keep going every week, maybe every other week. We'll see. Just depends on
Every week.
what we get done. Drew says every week. We'll see. But thank you, everybody, and see you next time.